up, gamers? This is a brand new series where I discuss the entire lore of my upcoming game that I've made in GDevelop 5, which is called Jeff. Jeff is basically a pixel art platformer shoot 'em up game, which basically has the main character, a potato named Jeff, and the side character, aka Helper, which is the Old King. Are you guys ready for the lore? Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. The lore all starts when the game begins. The game begins in Jeff's house. Basically, what happened was there was a new king that somehow arose out of the kingdoms. Now, currently, there are 3 kingdoms currently. There were more kingdoms, but we'll get to that soon. The 3 current kingdoms are the Candy Kingdom, the Savory Kingdom, and the Makeshift Condiment Kingdom. Basically, the old king that had recently been kicked out of the castle by the new king, disguised as the old king to make it look like he was the actual king and the old one wasn't, basically came over to Jeff, which was one of his best soldiers, in order for him to help. Basically, Jeff has been hiding in his home for 10 whole years. Here is why. A long time ago, the Condiment Kingdom started a war with the Savory Kingdom. The Savory Kingdom didn't know why, because the Condiment Kingdom were great friends with them. So they went in blind, and out of nowhere, a bunch of mayo and mustard troops started attacking them at lunch. They were easy to hold off, but nothing could have prepared them for what came next. The Sriracha Troop. If you don't know in the kingdoms, the Sriracha Troop is going to be a really beefy enemy that's going to be really hard to kill. The Sriracha is basically like a ninja. He was so fast that they cut open all of the Savory Kingdoms, soldiers, so that way there were basically no one left. After the soldiers were killed, they decided to then go on to the actual kingdom, ransacking homes, stealing people's money, killing children, killing people, and then they finally came to the castle. Although the king and queen were prepared. The king and queen basically grabbed their... I'm hearing an echo. It's probably just... Right, okay. Okay, anyways, the king and queen grabbed their sons and daughters and basically ran as fast as they could to another area where they could live.
Ethan, sorry to pause, but where should be the location of Jeff? Should it be in the first area or the second area?
The first area, because that's typically where the game starts in his home.
The grass.
No,
the other.
The other one, because that's basically his home. Anyways, so after the condiments had no idea that the king and queen and their sons had escaped, so the king and queen started to rebuild their home without the Condiment Kingdom noticing, because the Condiment Kingdom was still alive. Then the Candy Kingdom started to take action. Basically, the Candy Kingdom started sending troops over to Condiment Kingdom to figure out what had happened to Savory Kingdom. So the Savory Kingdom was a good ally of them, but Condiment Kingdom wasn't really. Who's going to boom boom boom? Like, who's like blowing on their bike? Who's like blowing on their bike? Is it you, Dance?
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I breathing in the mic?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay.
No worries.
It's okay. So after that, basically.
Wait, guys, pause. I love how like Ethan and Ron are arguing, but we all can just stop to agree we all like neons.
Yeah. I even have it as an Easter egg in the game. Anyways, let me continue. Yeah. So, the Candy Kingdom started sending troops over to the Condiment Kingdom to figure out what happened to Savory Kingdom. The Candy Kingdom was oblivious to all that happened, so Condiment Kingdom lied, and were like, oh, well, we don't know what happened to them, they just disappeared one day. The Candy Kingdom was a little suspicious, but King Candy did not do anything about it. Then come in our hero, Jeff. Jeff is basically born from his parents, which are two bad.
Yeah, everyone is born from their parents. Not everyone's born in a test tube like you, Ethan.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways, their parents is Margaret Chipbag and Joshua Chipbag. Basically, Margaret and Joshua Chipbag were little kids now grown up, and they had a baby which was Jeff. Now later, this starts to get to the trauma of what Jeff had. This next part of the lore I like to call Jeff's trauma. Basically, Jeff was born, and through his early years, he would just go to school. Nothing really important happened until he reached the age of 15. 15 was the age where the war started to happen. Now, if you don't know, basically, the Condiment Kingdom was like, okay, we lied to Candy Kingdom. We already told them, hey, we didn't do it. But now, we're going to take action, and we're going to destroy that stupid Candy Kingdom. Now that's it. The war. Basically, the Condiment Kingdom started sending out a ton of Sriracha troops, being their best ones, out to destroy the Candy Kingdom. The Candy Kingdom was prepared, though, with Jeff being at the front of the army. Jeff with his AK. Now, another part of the trauma we'll get to pretty soon. Jeff was basically the best with his AK. His AK would do anything that could destroy someone. So, it fired these special bullets that would instant kill anyone. It was a really cool AK, and it was really rare to get. And Jeff was a
Can
really
you stop
good
talking
troop.
about the AK?
And Jeff was a really good troop at the time, which is why King Candy gave it to him. Anyways, enough about the AK. So, Jeff was fighting
please.
until, out of nowhere, a group of 5 Sriracha troops started coming toward him. Jeff didn't know what to do except for his AK. He started to shoot it continuously, but it failed. The Sriracha troops were too fast. It instantly ran straight for Jeff, kicking him in the face. Jeff fell to the ground and didn't know what to do. He yelled for help, but everyone was too busy fighting off the other condiments. Jeff started kicking all the Srirachas, but they were just too fast. Jeff didn't know what to do, so he just lay there. Until all of a sudden, something happened. A Mayo troop from the continent flew out of nowhere onto the Srirachas. Hitting the Srirachas, they all fell back. And the person who threw it, which I'll get to in a second, calculated the exact time that all of the ninjas will move, since for some reason all of the Sriracha minions have a specific suit that can time whenever they go to the next location, like a ninja. It's kind of like an Enderman teleport. If you punch them, they teleport away.
Ethan, I'm sorry. Ethan, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I finished the Jeff drawing.
Cool. I'll look at it soon. Anyways, basically, after that, Jeff went over to whoever threw the mail and figured out it was his relative, Frycock. Frycock is a cop that is an enemy in the game, which I will get to in a while. Basically, he threw the mayo so that way he can help his relative out. Jeff thanked him and went back into battle. So did his relative. They kept on fighting until it started. Here's how it happened. Basically, in the game, Jeff has a finger gun. Normally, you would just think, oh, it's like a reference to Cuphead. It's actually something more. You see, while fighting, the Srirachas that his relative had killed was sprayed all over the floor, kind of like blood. Now, for some reason, the Sriracha was slippery, unlike it is in real life. I mean, it's just sauce, and you can, if you pour a bottle, you still can't really step on it if you have, like, shoes or socks, or foot, you just have barefoot. But, for some reason, it was really slippery. This caused Jeff to tumble onto a pile of rocks. Basically, the kingdom is close to a cliff. The cliff was where the battle was happening, and Jeff had fallen. Basically, a ketchup
All right,
tree.
Ethan. I gotta go. I'll be back soon. I have to go to the store. Right.
Okay, bye, Roman.
All right. Make sure to keep recording.
Yep, I am. Hans will still be here. Okay, so anyways, let me continue. Jeff fell all the way down to the ground, right on the rocks. Jeff didn't know what to do. His body ached all over, and puffs of potato were coming out. He didn't know what to do. All hope was lost, he said to himself. The world's gone. The whole kingdom's gonna die. Until out of nowhere, his gun came out on top of him, right on his hand. But for some reason, along with his gun, along with his gun, Jeff realized that his hand was basically cut entirely open, blood spewing all over the place. Basically, with his arm being basically cut open, blood all over the place, the gun somehow landed straight in his arm. This is how the finger gun happened. Basically, even though Jeff had fallen, which was basically the best truth, to the ground of the rocks, Jeff was still alive, and they won. Which is why I told you earlier about how there was a makeshift condom. Anyways, basically after that, Jeff got all healed up, and for some reason he wanted to keep his gun intact. He experimented with AI that he could use with his other hand, and basically made it so that he could program a robot that could basically act as his gun inside of his finger. He would basically just use all the parts from the gun and just add it with some other scrap metal, and then do some coding with some chips and stuff. It was very simple, and pretty soon, out of no time, he had it. But then, something happened. During the war, his parents were still alive. But after he started working on all this, he got some sad news. Recently, two out of 6 of the remaining members of the Konami Kingdom had been sent out to assassinate his parents. They unfortunately didn't make it. Jeff was mortified by this news and decided that enough was enough, and he went to go into hiding after 10 years. After that, we go to his home. Jeff has been in his home for 10 years, not seeing any of his relatives at all. He's heard some strange noises coming out of his highly sealed door, but that's what it is. Most of the noises he knows who they are either the mailman or the food deliverer, which he has a special system that delivers food without seeing contact. Jeff has been in here for 10 years, as I've said multiple times, and has gone through PTSD of his parents in the war and all that happened. Now, here's the thing. All the while, the Savory Kingdom has been building up their characters and armies as basically other outcasts from other kingdoms have been sent to this area where most of them hang out. Basically, one day, all of the outsiders decided to form a group. One of these characters is Black Licorice. Black Licorice and Red Licorice. Black Licorice and Red Licorice are really important characters, and they really important for the rest of the lore. Anyways, let me continue. Also, if you guys don't really want me to spoil any more of the game, and you just want to play for yourself, I would really suggest leaving this video. I'm really sorry, guys, but I just really don't want you guys to be spoiled if you don't want it. But if you're one of those people, then enjoy the rest. Anyways, after that, basically, Jeff had PTSD, and after all that happened, he wasn't prepared for what was going to happen next. So basically, what happened next was he got a knock somehow on his door. For once in a lifetime, he called out, "Who is it?" That's when the old king replied, "Hey, Jeff, I know it's been a while. I think like 5 years?" Jeff said, "It's been 10. I've counted every one of them." on the marks of his walls, it might seem just like little pieces of bricks, but inside of those pieces of bricks, there's little tallies. You might not seem like it in the game, but in the lore, these bricks are made up of all of those tallies across the 10 years. His house is pretty big, to mind you, and it's inside of the hill. Anyways, after that, basically, Jeff let him in after configuring for like an hour or so, and the old king wanted to help him out, and as long as he can help him return. He will help him cope with the loss of his parents and help him with his PTSD, as long as he can help him regain his throne. Jeff was completely oblivious to what happened. Basically, the old king was one day sitting on his throne, and all of a sudden his castle was attacked, although no one noticed. For some reason, whoever this person was disabled the alarm so that way when someone would break in, the alarms would go off, but this time he didn't. So that way no citizen will be alert and try to help or run away to a safe location. The Candy Kingdom has multiple safe locations, or camps, as I like to call them, which you'll see throughout the game, but basically these camps are really bad. They have, the only basic thing they have are houses. They don't really have any farms, food providers, anything. Oh, by the way, the farms in this is just plants. They eat plants. Anyways, basically, so Jeff agrees to help out the king with his help for his PTSD and coping with the tragedy that happened of the war and his parents' death. Even though it's been 10 years, he still hasn't overcome it. So basically, in the game, you go on an adventure around the whole entire kingdom, the whole entire world. And you basically try to solve any problem you come across and destroy basically every evil enemy that you get. Basically, anyways, after that, for some odd reason, that's it for this video. I'm sorry for the cliffhanger, guys, but for that some reason I thought was a really good thing to leave as cliffhanger. So I'm sorry, guys. We'll see you in the next lore video. Bye!